Hello everybody, ciao a tutti, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are old here, welcome back. Right, my name is Rebeah, by the way, and I've lived in Italy for a long time. So let's jump into the video. I don't know what the title of this video is going to be called, but it's probably going to be something a little bit clickbaity, just to get people to watch the video. So I'll say that here and now. So basically, let's talk about marriage. I know there's still so many people that want to move to Italy, have a burning desire to live here. So I always forget that a lot of you watch my channel because you want to move to Italy. So let me give you some information. And if you want any videos on any particular topics and I feel comfortable making videos about them, I will do them for you if you request them, either over on my Instagram page. You can send me a DM, or at the bottom of one of my videos. It's fine with me. And if I feel comfortable to make a video on that topic, I will do, just to give you some more information about it, because maybe if you're wondering about that topic, maybe other people are too. So don't be shy and ask away. So yeah, let's talk about marriage and just how it goes, because maybe you are in a position where you want to move to Italy, but you're not sure about what it's like to get married. You just don't have the experience on the floor, because of course, visiting a city, visiting the country is very different from actually living in a country and being immersed in the culture. What you see on TV is a lot of the time stereotypes or something completely different than what you're going to get when you actually move to a country. So I think it's nice to have some first-hand information from somebody that actually lives in the country. So here I am, Rebeah. So let's just have a talk. Let's just have just a chit chat about marriage and what I've noticed, the trends are here, what the culture is like here when it comes to marriage. Maybe I think before I moved there, this was my idea, that I believed from watching TV, from watching all the films, that Italians got married early. Or married early and quickly. That probably was my idea if I was going to say anything. It wouldn't be actually what it is, okay? So was I a little bit surprised? Maybe, yeah. Somebody's going to say in the comment section, oh, why didn't you Google it? Or I just didn't Google it because it just wasn't something that I was going to Google, or I thought to Google before moving here. When do Italians get married early, or something like, or when do they marry, or something like that. I just didn't think of it. But I think if you are coming here and you want to live here full time, and this is your place and you want it to be your new home, this information is definitely going to be, it might be helpful. Going with some stats that I found online. So I'm just going to read from the screen. The European country with the lowest marriage rate is often Italy, which has consistently reported very low marriage rates in recent years, according to Eurostat. The marriage rate in Italy has hovered around 1.6 marriages per 1,000 inhabitants, significantly lower than the EU average of approximately 4.1 marriages per 1,000 inhabitants. Then it's slowly followed by Portugal, Spain. Okay, so that is some stats that I found. Also, it's not very different, the stats for the birth rate either. So marriage and births are in decline. Or also, to add some more information, it says in Italy, the average age of which people marry has been increasing over the years. According to recent statistics, men typically get married around the age of 34 to 35 years old, and women 31 to 32 years old. So how does that affect you? How does that impact you if you want to move here? Information is knowledge. Information is power. So if you've got that information and you're a certain age, or you want to move to Italy, you know that if it's going to work for you, if you know that it's not going to work for you. There's many girls that I've met, and they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to stay in Italy because I've not met anybody, and I know when I do meet somebody, they just take so long to settle down. How long is it going to take for them to, want to settle down with me? Is it going to be 3 years, or is it going to be 7 years? Because it possibly can be. I know many people that that are still, boyfriend and girlfriend, and they've been together for 14 years, 10 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. And that's okay. In my opinion, that's okay if both people are on the same page, but sometimes they're not always on the same page. Maybe the woman, generally I've noticed, wants to get married a bit earlier or wants to get married and start a family, whereas the man is probably sometimes, not in all cases, guys, but just in some cases that I've seen, they don't want to do it yet, because they see around. They maybe see their peers, they see their friend, their mom, their dad got married late and had children late. So they don't think there's such a rush. Oh, it's no problem. We can get it done. We can get married at some point, or it's not really a big deal. I generally say Italy, but you also got to note that in the north of Italy, things are a little bit different than in the south of Italy. I think that in the south of Italy, the numbers, people generally get married a little bit younger and start their families a little bit earlier than I would say in the north of Italy. All right, so from the research that I done online, the sweet spot of dating before marriage is generally about 6 or 7 years before couples decide to then tie the knot. So that's something that you can definitely take into consideration before anything. Of course, there's going to be people that marry earlier, over the 2-year mark or the 3-year mark. Of course there is, but there's just something just to know those numbers. So it just gives you an idea. And when you're doing your calculations, you know that you can calculate 7 years as a maximum, let's say a maximum. Also, what I've noticed that Italians are very fixed on, and I do really admire this. They're very fixed on being stable before they bring children into the world, and having a really firm foundation, having having a house, having a good income, finishing up university or whatever, or having a stable job, and then taking that next step, and then getting married, and then having children. And what I have noticed is that they do take the steps of getting married and then having children. They take those steps. Generally, I don't really see a lot of Italians jumping from not being married to having children straight away. They take longer to get married, but then marriage and then children. This is what I've noticed. So that's something else. So they like to build a nice firm foundation before anything happens. And I noticed that they like to be able to give to their children. When they do have children, they like to be able to give their all to their children, if you understand what I mean. Be able to financially support their children in any way possible. Be able to hand down in the future maybe a property to their children, or to give that. This is what I've noticed. And I really like that. I like first date, second date, you're talking. Yeah, my family are quite religious people, and I've grown up in the church. I love marriage. I love the union of marriage, and that's something that I want. Is that something that you want? Okay. And what type of time frame? These are the questions to ask, guys. Write them down. What type of time frame do you think you would marry the one in? Make sure you listen, but don't only listen to understand. Ask them, what type of time frame do you think you would marry a woman within? And most people will let you know, man, no, 10 years, I'm nowhere close to being married right now, it's not going to happen, la la la. They will let you know. And what you do with that information is entirely up to you. The point is, I have realized that the people, and if you are watching my channel, I'm sure you're watching other influencers, or I don't know, did I call myself an influencer? Other people's content on YouTube. I know you're watching, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that you're watching who lives in Italy. So you probably would have seen that some of them are married. Oh, I met my husband in Zimbabwe, and now we're married, and now we're here, and now we're married. Right. I believe, this is just from me, I've done no statistics, just from my watching, I believe that if you live in a different country, like if you live in a different country where you have to do visa, they need to do a big visa process, okay? And there's time limitations on you, you're more likely to get married earlier. That's just my opinion. That's just from what I've seen. Now, you might be like, is there any truth in that? Just you go and look. You go and look. You go and look now. If you're from the continent of Africa, you're probably more likely to marry an Italian earlier. If you are from America, you're more likely. If you're from Europe, if you're from Sweden maybe, or from the UK, you're less likely. Now that Brexit is here, maybe you stand more of a chance, because there's that pressure, to have the marriage. But if there's no kind of pressure on the situation, it's definitely probably going to take you a little bit longer. So again, don't get caught up in those videos where you're seeing other people from different parts of the country getting married, and you think that's going to happen to you, because it might and it might not. Okay, so just to summarize this video, I wrote a few points down, a couple of this book, I wrote these things down probably last year, so I think the points are still valid. I would say, if you were to come here and you have the idea that you do want to get married and you do want to settle down, you just want to make Italy your new home and you want to have a new life here, I would say, when you meet that person, just be honest. Say what you want. Ask questions. Talk about time frames that you would like these things to happen within, just so that you're not surprising them and they're not surprising you. You're both on the same page. I think that's the most important thing, is that both of you are on the same page, and then you're in some type of agreement. And just don't be afraid to do it. Going with the flow is not going to get you sometimes what you want. I think some people can go with the flow and it can work, but others it just causes a little bit of confusion. So try not to do that, especially if you are at a tender age where you do want to, you maybe you're 30 years old and you're like, okay, I want to move forward. Just make sure that you watch this video and you know what the stats are there, and that people do generally take a little bit longer. They generally don't marry in 1 year or in 6 months or whatever. I don't think it's the rule here. I don't think it's the rule. If you know something different, then let me know. But I just don't think it's the rule for people to marry early. And like I said before, for many reasons why people don't jump and marry, for finances, for their living situations, education. They finish university later. What else is there? The law and divorce sometimes favors the women a little bit more, and men know this and they don't want to go through all that hurt and turmoil. So when they're choosing somebody, they want to make sure they're choosing the right person for them. So that's another thing. That's another reason why. But it's all about having these conversations with the person about these things. Did I mention biological clock, that women have biological clocks? And there's obviously going to be a little bit more of what's the word? Going to be in a little bit more of a hurry than a man would be, and a man possibly leaving a relationship at 34 and with no children if they want children, and a woman leaving a relationship at 34 and wanting children I think it sometimes can be a little bit different. So I think that we have to know what we want as women and act on it. I think as well, time frames are also good. I'm not saying ultimatums, because I don't think ultimatums are particularly something that I would be interested in anybody giving me or I would give to anybody else. But I think having time frames in your mind, and if those time frames necessarily are not matching up with things, then I think it's for you as the person or you as the woman to act on that situation. And if you are in a situation and you're in Italy and you are, in something for a long time, my back is starting to hurt, sorry. And you are in something for a long time, talk up. Don't be scared. Talk up about it and then take action. That's what I would say. Talk up and take some action. And my last point was, let me read this because I haven't read this since I wrote it a year ago. I've seen way too many girls end relationships in their mid-30s. This is what I said. Many end relationships in their mid-30s. Have one wits about you. I wrote that too. So there you go, girls and guys. that is that. So take what you want from the video. Those are the stats, and I will see you in the next video. Remember what I said, to leave your information down below if you want. If leave a question down below if you want me to answer anything about any particular topic or anything like that. Maybe I can give you a video on dating sites to go on to in Italy, something like that. You let me know what will make the process for you easier. Nothing too intricate, nothing too political, because I'm tired, guys. So all right then, thank you very much, and ciao. See you soon.